Clots and prayers, y'all. Clots and prayers.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
Well, it's a good thing I started decorating my basket because I know we're all going to hell for that. Straight to hell. But clots and prayers. All right, ladies and gents, welcome back.
We're praying too.
That's what you want to call it. All right, well, we're back with another episode of Gay Talk 2.0, an LGBT podcast. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel for all of our Patreon supporters on the day of recording. Everyone else gets it the following week. My name is Tom. I'm your host, and as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear, a.k.a. your boyfriend's boyfriend.
Literally.
Both of your boyfriend's boyfriends.
Both of the...
Literally.
Anyway.
Literally.
So welcome back to another episode. Before we get started, our apologies. We were supposed to record a show last week. We were supposed to have a guest last week, and we had to cancel both. So unfortunately...
well, fortunately, actually.
Unfortunately, we had to cancel both, but for a fortunate reason. So I had, Mom had surgery. And we had been navigating all of that. Mom spent 14 days in a hospital after having her, her reproductive organs removed as a result of her cancer diagnosis. And everything went well, but, she spent 14 days in the hospital, and we were anticipating she was coming home on Tuesday. And surprise, they call me in the morning and say, yeah, your mom's being discharged today. So I had all along planned to keep Mom here at home, because Mom can't be by herself shortly after surgery. And so I said, why don't you come and stay with me? So she stayed with me for about 5 days. And really, I needed to focus and make sure that she was okay and that she was taking care of anything that she needed that she had. So we didn't record on Monday, even though you stopped by.
Jay came. Yeah.
I came by because you guys never told me it was canceled.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. My apologies.
But,
I took a Zoom call here, too, actually.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You did.
We got to see Mom, so it was a plus.
Yeah, and she's in good spirits. She's doing great.
You should have seen her face when... So she wanted chicken wings. And in order for her to have chicken wings, Tom was like, you have to have something soft, too. So he made mashed potatoes. And he had mashed potatoes and chicken wings in a bowl. And her husband was bringing it out to her, and her face was like,
she lit up
like real food.
Yeah, no, she was going through it. I mean, she didn't eat for like 5 days in the hospital because, of different circumstances. They had a hard time really regulating her blood pressure. I had issues in the hospital, and I MF'd everybody in that entire floor.
So did she.
And so did she. And, it's things that we can talk about. I mean, one thing that I always say, it's very important that when you have a loved one in the hospital, show up, be there. Mm-hmm. Because if you are not there to advocate, to make sure that they're properly attending to your loved one, shit goes by the wayside. Absolutely. Literally. And, I'm not going to talk in detail about some of the things that happened to my mother while she was in the hospital because it's very embarrassing and I don't want to put her out there like that. But, some of the nursing staff in these places just really have no regard whatsoever for hygiene. And
I think that, and I think they're understaffed and overworked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever the case may be, it just shouldn't happen. And so at one point...
Well, thanks to the current administration, here we are.
Yeah. So, at some point, the doctor who did the surgery came up to the 14th floor. Mom was at the Smilo Cancer Hospital in Yale, New Haven. And, he asked me, is there anything, do you have any concerns right now? I was like, how much time do you have?
Yeah. I mean, Jay makes a really good point, though, because... Right. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Yale New Haven Health has pulled out of sponsoring a lot of local nonprofits because of all of the funding cuts that they are facing.
Right. It's intense. But nonetheless, if you have someone that literally just got out of the NICU.
Not NICU.
ICU.
No, it was actually she was in the baby area. She was.
Was?
They put her because they didn't have room, so they put her in the NICU.
Okay.
And then from there,
Well, ultimately, ICU for her.
and they went into. Then they brought her upstairs to the 14th floor, which is where they do most of the follow-up care, etc. And at one point in time, mom, because when you undergo such a surgery and you're under anesthetic, your bowels are not moving. They're not doing what they're supposed to do immediately after you wake up, right? And so when she was eating, nothing was happening. And so she started throwing up. And so they put this tube, this NG tube down her nose to drain the contents of her stomach out. And they have this tube and it goes into this little bucket that's attached to all the machinery at the wall. Fine. She was on that tube for 3 days. They finally took it out, and she was just happy as all can be. She was like, "Oh my God, okay, I'm on the mends. I'm in the right direction." And like I said before, certain things that happened in between. And then when the doctor said to me, "How much? Do you have any concerns?" I said, "Please sit. How much time do you have?" I started, pointing out things, and one of the first things I said, Mom had a blood transfusion twice. Look at this roly thingy, the roller thing where you hand all the IVs and everything. It's covered in blood, and it's been like that for 2 days. And I asked him the question. I said, when was it that you ordered the tube removed? He goes like, that was 2 days ago. And I said, why are the contents of her stomach still hanging on that wall?
That is gross.
Yeah.
His face, when I tell you, went south quick, and he goes like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Let me put you in contact to the floor manager and et cetera. And then I just started pointing things out. I was like, this is not how you care for someone who just went through 6 chemotherapies, right? Yeah. Who's immunocompromised, who just had a surgery where you literally slit her open from, navel to God knows where. And she's exposed to all of this bacteria, and you're worried about family members coming in here, but obviously, you're cleaning people and your nurses are not doing what they're supposed to be doing while she's here. And so at some point I just had to take my computer and just go and work from the hospital and sit there all day long and say, this needs to be handled. This needs to be taken care of. And
so you were managing the staff for the hospital, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
Also,
much.
Your mom didn't know what button was the call the nurse
that
button.
too. So yeah, she's trying to call the nurse and she's pushing this button. I was like, Mom, that's not the button. It's a button here. This is the one you push, right? And but even then, they would tell her,
no one's coming, but the TV keeps turning on.
We'll be there in a minute, which is what I would keep hearing. And then obviously I would open the door and be like, it's been well over a minute. Is anybody coming? Yeah, it was an experience.
I'll be there in a minute turns into an hour real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
And so just, if you have a loved one in the hospital, and it is in your best interest and theirs for you to really go in there and just make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I remember when Paul got shot with the BB, and I went to the hospital with him, and we were sitting there for hours and hours and hours, and the doctor finally came, and he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you got shot. I thought you were fucking around with a gun. Like they thought he did it to himself. So they didn't
they
make it a priority.
Yeah. And I was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. He got shot in the face with a BB gun, and the BB was stuck in
his cheek,
on the superficial part of the skin in this cheek.
I'll never forget that phone call. Nick, I've been shot.
Oh my God.
Like, what?
Yeah, no, it's just be there for people, and advocate for them. And if you see something, push all the buttons. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs to be up in that room. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. You better take care of this, handle this, and because they won't do it. And I was a little heartbroken when I found my mother in the condition in which I found her in. And again, I won't go into details because it's embarrassing enough as it is, and it's the whole experience in itself is very,
it's a semi-traumatic.
It's also very, very evasive in a sense, right? You're in a hospital robe with your ass is hanging out like all the time, right? You have people coming in and out of your personal space all the time. You can't bathe by yourself, so you rely on a stranger to do that. I had to bathe my mother for the first time in my life. I mean,
Been there, done that. Yep.
all of it. And so just, but mom is home. She is recovering. She is doing wonderful. The news from the surgery itself was that the doctor said they got it all, which is great.
Great.
And she might have to do a couple of chemotherapies here and there and follow-up treatments, but nonetheless, I mean, she's on the road to recovery.
Good for her.
So that is the reason why we didn't, even consider having a show last week and letting people know. So it's been a lot crazy 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So, Jaybird, how are you?
Shit. Do we have a few hours? No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord
No,
have mercy.
it has been a few crazy weeks. So
Yeah. But you took some time for self-care,
yeah, it took some time for self-care. But
if we want to call it that.
yeah.
That's definitely what it was.
Yeah. So I lost my 3 dogs in a matter of 2.5 weeks.
Right.
So that was a lot to take in.
Right.
Other family issues kind of followed on top of that.
But you got a new dog.
Yeah. Well, not me, but yes, we ended up with a new dog.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I like completely butchered
Yeah.
on a haircut.
We shaved her down.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, it was to say I was overwhelmed was the least.
Right.
I didn't realize it until I kind of on a whim said, "Fuck it, I'm booking a weekend trip to Puerto Rico and just leaving
Nice.
by myself. I'll figure it out." I didn't book a hotel. I didn't rent a car. I just made a few phone calls. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming down. You available?" It just worked out that way.
Right.
And they were.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed the time. Look at her. I just needed the time away, needed the time to kind of do some self-care and kind of gather myself. So,
I'm just looking at
yeah. I got back in this morning.
You did. First thing.
First thing.
Yeah.
So, good. I feel good.
Right. So you took a nice little weekend getaway. Did you want to do anything fun while you were there? Did you eat anything that you were like?
A couple of things. I got a new tattoo. We did the beach thing. Ate out a couple times. Look at her.
Ate out a lot.
I ate out a lot. Yeah, it was fun. It was just. I went with no. You guys are horrible. I went with no specific plans. I just went to just go and hang out.
But I love your new tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, tattoo is actually pretty amazing. Let me see if we can get
You're gonna make me get up.
Can you actually
No,
lift
no,
your leg that high?
Yeah, let me see if we can do an image control here. Yeah. Let's see. So turn over just a little bit.
That way? This
That way.
He's heard that
That
before.
camera.
Yeah.
There you go. And that is his new tattoo.
My new ink,
Hey, turn a little bit more.
my therapy.
There it
Yeah,
is.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's fabulous.
Yep.
And so you ended up getting some new ink, and this is not the first time that you've done so, right? Like every time you go to Puerto Rico, you get something.
Yeah. So my go-to tattoo guy is in Puerto Rico. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So I've got to fly to Puerto Rico to fix my tattoo now.
Yeah. You've got some color that needs replacing, but you said you won't do it for another 3 years.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So can you explain why you won't do it for another 3 years?
I feel like I explained this on the show.
I don't know. I don't
I don't
remember.
think so, to be
I don't
honest.
remember. So Nick has a rainbow tattoo on his foot.
I do. It was my 25th birthday present to myself.
Right.
40 years ago. Okay.
84 years
84
ago.
years ago.
But you can't tell because of the Botox. Can't even move my forehead. So it's been over 10 years now, and the colors are starting to fade.
And they're all there except for one.
except for one color, which is orange.
Right.
And my neighbor the other day was like, "Why is there no orange in your rainbow tattoo?" I was like, "Oh, I removed the orange once Cirollini took the White House, but it does need to be redone, and
Right.
I'll eventually put it back. But
So let's see, 2024, right? So
Then I'm
in
gonna have to get-
2028.
I'll probably get it done before that. But
Yeah, okay. Just make sure it's a nice. It's not. Make sure it's not a Cheeto like orange.
no, I won't.
Yeah. Make it a nice
A
orange.
nice.
Like a rich,
Yeah, like a
orange.
rich,
Not like a dusty old.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not an
Nobody
orange
needs-
with small hands.
Exactly. Tiny hands.
Tiny hands.
Oh my god.
Swollen ankles. Swollen ankles.
Yeah.
No.
So let's talk about the opener for a little bit. So what was it that we said?
Clots and
Clots
prayers?
and prayers. So we're saying clots because was it because of his ankles?
Yeah.
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 Lord have mercy. Them things look like elephant hoofs.
Yeah.
Like, are they called hoofs?
No. Elephant feet.
Elephant feet? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, who
They don't,
cares?
they don't have hoofs. They have nails.
They're swollen, is
Yeah,
what they are.
yeah.
So you can tell clearly.
Cankles.
That's more than just cankles, man. That's bad. And then obviously we're offering prayers because
Why not? Sooner out of the way, the better.
that's deep.
It is what it is.
That's deep.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
JD's not great either.
Yeah. So the the other meme that I that I saw that had me dying was a picture of his ankles, and Ronald McDonald, and it says, "I did that," pointing at the ankles.
Oh, because that's all he eats,
That's all
like
he eats.
McDonald's,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
Good for you, Ronald.
So I guess they said he's suffering from deep vein thrombosis.
It's something.
So basically, he's retaining water and he's swelling up because of his diet. Basically, it's a poor diet. So everyone should pitch in and make sure he gets daily deliveries of Uber McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah, no thanks. I'm
Ma-
not supporting that shit.
Why not?
'Cause
we
he
might
do-
have
he-
him in office maybe for another 6 months.
He can do it all on
Maybe
his own.
stop.
He can't. Listen.
Linda.
There will be celebrations, and I know that's going to rub people off the wrong way, but there will be celebrations. I mean, when you're a dick, you're a dick,
Yeah.
you know? And you just can't change that. When you're an evil person, you're an evil person. When your whole soul,
Do you really think that
Purpose
he
in life.
actually understands the impact of all the things he's doing with Project 2025, or do you think he's only going along with it because of his mega rich friends that want him to?
I think it's a
I
bit of
think
both. I mean, listen, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? His father was known to be someone who was very racist. His father was involved in some way, shape, or form with the KKK. His father had buildings, numerous buildings and properties in New York where he outspokenly said, I don't want to rent to black people. I don't want to rent to Latinos.
No, I know.
I mean, so it's like, he grew up with this, and he might be able to sort of kind of, say it in ways that sort of kind of make it look playful, and there's nothing playful about that fucking shit.
Well,
Do you know what I'm saying?
it's-
It's in your face.
It's funny because I heard, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they were talking about someone in our community that is very wealthy, affluent, and degrading other people that think that they are above their station. And I feel like there is a level of when you reach a level of wealth,
right.
naturally, like, these people just look down upon people that are trying to achieve that level,
Right.
Absolutely.
or like just maybe presenting above their station, for lack of a better term. But that's not the
Well, you gotta-
presenting as
yeah.
if
You got to remember, I mean, people tend to show their true colors when they think they're untouchable.
Right. And this man clearly thinks he's untouchable because on many occasions, I mean,
he is. Look, he's a felon.
He's a felon.
He's in the White House.
He's in the White House. The Supreme Court literally ruled and said that while he's acting or, in the capacity of president, that nothing he does can be prosecuted. 4 federal cases that were pending are all gone because he's now in office. And, there's really no accountability for a person who's blatantly being racist, blatantly attacking Latinos, blatantly attacking, black and brown people, and making it difficult for people in our community, trans people, or, in general, to be able to just access things like healthcare. And this big, horrible bill, which, they want to label it beautiful, but there's nothing beautiful about it. Does nothing but just hurt people who need it the most, and it's just disgusting. And to me, that type of person, I doesn't deserve any sympathies from me, at least. Whatever.
I was
the dildo of karma usually comes unlubed.
Oh, true.
And I hope it's fucking like full. I hope it's one of those dildos that like literally resembles a freaking cactus.
Or the one that I saw when I was in Colorado, and I was like, oh my God, who would ever?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But I hope it has spikes.
Well,
so you know how certain animals will sting you and their barbs are like
Cats.
They're faced in a way that once they pierce the skin, they you can't pull it out.
Like a porcupine.
I know. I'm sorry, but Trish,
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry about what I said. I just want to have some fun.
How am I? I'm fine.
How are you?
I'm fine. I had a long weekend. I had today off, and I did a lot of stuff. I saw my nieces. I did a lot of errands. We went to a party.
We did.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Nick learned how to do something new this weekend.
I did.
You want to talk about that?
I'm one step closer to Puerto Rican.
Yes, he's like one like literally.
Literally.
I think a couple of more things. He's like full-fledged Puerto Rican.
I got to learn how to make rice. I tried last night.
Actually, the first step is learning how to make sofrito.
Because that's
the staple. That's the holy trinity of Puerto Rican cooking.
Right. That's the life source.
Yeah.
That's what gets you anywhere.
Okay.
So we'll teach you how to make some good sofrito.
Yeah.
So I went to this party.
Yeah.
And so recently, I talked about this on the show, but recently I didn't realize how big Domino's were in the Puerto Rican community.
Oh, it's massive.
Right.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so I found that out on the 4th of July. When my neighbors pulled out the Domino's table and everybody got up and walked over to the Domino's table. So I show up at the party this weekend and Tom is playing Domino's. And so I'm watching him play.
No, keep talking.
Keep talking.
Keep talking.
What are you doing over there? I'm watching him play and I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to play. And so eventually our good friend's dad let me take his seat and I played, I don't know, like 4 or 5 rounds. You were like right at the end of your first game.
Right. So the whole goal is the first team to hit 500, the way we play, are the winners, right? And so the first four games have bonuses. So the idea is that you play dominoes and then whoever leads out with their last domino, we collect whatever's left in everyone's hands, and then we add those points, and then the first game gets added. We gets a bonus of 100. Excuse me. The second one is 75. The third one is 50, and the last one is 25. Mm-hmm. And so that gets you up to that 500 a lot faster.
Yeah.
You happen to come in on the tail end of the game, so there were no more like specials left. But please continue.
No, but it was a lot of fun. And I was, told that I was a natural.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
I picked it up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's you've been hanging around.
We did lose to Tom and his partner, but not by a lot.
Well, yeah, you're right. It wasn't by a lot, but nonetheless, we won. It's fun. It's always a good fun. And then obviously, Nick is obsessed with Puerto Rican food and like all the fixings and everything that was available. He was like, "Oh my God, this chicken is like."
It was so good.
Yeah. And then she did something so white girl.
So
I got to talk about this. So we're at the party.
Yeah.
No. Cornhole's fine because everybody was playing cornhole. No,
but the birthday boy was like, he's a white girl. He knows how to play. Let's go.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
But then he goes like, "Hey Tom, I have what do you call a Tupperware in my car? Do you think it would be kind of like? I was like, no, girl, go get that Tupperware. And
that's-
she
that's-
filled it
yeah.
up.
I did.
with her
No,
food.
that's Latino, 100%.
I
Latino
bring
moms bring that shit in their purse. They don't leave it in their car.
Well, it was funny because it was actually a
One of mine.
Tupperware that I had from Tom's that I had cleaned and I was bringing back to him. Then I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Tom, I think I want to use this one more time. No, it's just crazy.
But no, the food was good. It was a good time. But
I'm glad you came. I'm glad
Yeah.
you came.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I
good.
went back the next day and we had more food.
yeah, there was so much food.
Oh my God, she could
Yeah.
throw a party.
Italians and Puerto Ricans cook for
Yeah.
an army.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
do.
well, as I was gone for the weekend, my daughter had her boyfriend over
For 3 days.
for 3 days. So we spoke yesterday. She's like, "There's,
Gonna have another grandbaby.
yeah, we'll see, maybe
Actually, she's pretty.
She would be good. Yeah, she'd be a good mom.
She would be good.
But anyhow, yeah, we were talking yesterday.
Anyhow or anyhow?
Yeah, anyhow.
Oh,
anyhow,
okay,
no.
gotcha.
So she tells me yesterday there's a lot of leftovers in the fridge, so you don't have to worry about cooking anything for a few days.
That's
Well, that's good.
So yeah,
And
so
she can cook.
She
She
cooks.
can cook.
And I was like, "Why were you cooking?" But she tends, mind you, there's 3 of us at home. She'll cook for 8 sometimes. So it's like you
Right,
you
because
go
you
in
never
there,
know.
and we're eating leftovers sometimes for 4 days straight. And I'm not one to throw stuff out. If it's food, I just don't. You know, it's
Right.
just there's lunch for the next couple of days at work.
Right.
So my thing is like, what, did you cook for the whole neighborhood again? She starts laughing. She goes, no, but you know, my boyfriend was over and we cooked a couple times and he wanted to try different things.
And
know,
you had gotten rid of your pool.
Yep.
So she bought a floaty.
Yeah, she brought an inflatable pool and she sends me a picture of it sitting in the yard.
I love that.
Just
Yeah,
to cool
yeah.
off. I've thought about it, because they sell these adult ones that
Yeah, that's
have
the
like
one she got.
seating and stuff.
That's the exact one she got.
And you could just sit there, like fill it up with really cold water on a nice hot day and just chill, then empty it and just flip it upside down.
Lukewarm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not lukewarm.
It would get lukewarm.
Yeah, I
it
know,
could,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
But it works.
It works.
It works.
Just to cool off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she couldn't take it anymore. So she broke down and bought a pool.
Good for her.
Yeah.
So, random side note.
Uh-huh.
Going back to the Great Beautiful Bill and how they're actually achieving the bill, right? So they're
Right.
taxing low to moderate income at a
Right.
higher level and cutting taxes for the rich. Do you know again, right? Do you know when the best prosperity in America happened in recent years?
To my understanding, based on some of the stuff that I've read, a lot of prosperity that happened in America, or when I would say the United States of America, because America is an entire freaking continent, okay? Has been during Democratic presidents, during the Bill Clinton era, the Obama era, Biden.
It was actually how they got themselves out of the Great Depression, bringing us into one of the most prosperous times of American history.
Right.
And the way they did that was raising income tax on the rich. So anybody that made $1 million, it was taxed regularly, right? Up to $1 million. And then after $1 million, they increased the tax to, I think, 25%.
Right.
And then after $5 million, it was increased to 79%. And that's how the country was taken out of the Great Depression. And that's why we see the baby boomer generation, all the cars, the home buying, all that stuff was happening during that period of time. They were also being taxed, but at an equitable rate.
Right.
And so if you look at it like in the scheme of things, you're still fucking rich. You're making $1 million, right? You're getting taxed normally until you exceed $1 million.
Right.
And then if you exceed 5 million, you're getting taxed more. But
Right.
you're still not going to you're not going to go poor. Yeah, because of inflation, because of where we're at in the world, those numbers probably would have to shift a little bit
Right.
to make sense, right, for the rich. But at the same time, like, that is how
You'll be fine.
that is how we're going to pull ourselves out of a deficit. That is how we're
Right.
going to provide the actual services to, USAID all of the weather services, all of the internal government services that have been cut, all of the internal funding that has been cut because they need to, cut the fat.
Yeah. Well, my whole theory behind this, and it's just a theory, the reason why they brought in Elon Musk and Doge, right, was to reduce the workforce to such a capacity that they would not be able to respond for what came next, which was these like attacks on civil liberties and attacks on the migrant workers in the US and their inability to actually mobilize, because you don't have any employees in any of these agencies that could actually come out and say, no, you shouldn't do that. It's like, stop raiding people's jobs, people's birthday parties, people's, people who are actually going through the legal process of trying to get papers, and they go to court, and then in court you arrest them or you kidnap them, because basically it's what it is. I mean, you've got masked individuals that don't want to share who they are, what their name is, what agency they work for. They just say, oh no, we're coming in here in mask or whatever, and start arguing, getting stupid with people.
But you don't have to let them in.
You don't have to let them in, but when you're in a public building, what do? They
have to have a warrant.
It doesn't matter. They're taking them.
No, I know, but
they are literally.
You need to learn and know your rights,
right?
Because you have every right to push back and say no. Like, you need to come back with a warrant,
right? But they still take you anyway.
But if you have people around you that are also educated, like we're seeing around the country, people are standing up for other people. Right, and
they are, yes, but that still doesn't stop them from taking the person that they already have in their hands.
There have been situations where they actually have stopped ICE from taking someone.
In New York City was a great example with the Haitian community.
Right, the Haitian community came out in droves. And it's amazing to see, the mobilization of U.S. citizens that are coming out in support of migrant workers, because, we realize that a lot of people are under the assumption, oh, these people come here and they're taking our jobs. No, they're not. You don't want to do those jobs. They're doing the jobs that you don't want to do as an American citizen, and they're not paying any taxes, and they're taking advantage of all these government subsidies and et cetera. And this, unless you're here on an asylum case where you would qualify, you're here legally, you're given status, and you would qualify for some government services. The majority of immigrants that come to this country don't qualify for SNAP, don't qualify for Medicaid or all these other medical services. They're here, they go out and they work.
That's the reason why they created DACA, when there were kids here that had no health care, right? They were under the age of 18. They created DACA so that those kids were eligible for these programs, so that they had health care, so that they had the programs that they needed to succeed as an individual. Also created a pathway to citizenship.
Right. And that's in jeopardy.
And you got to look at the picture, right? They're speaking about the illegal immigrants coming into the country and stealing their jobs, right? Not paying taxes. Look at how a lot of these immigrants come through the border. No shoes, tattered clothing, uneducated. And they take the jobs that are offered because that's what they know. And it's mainly farm work and construction work. And you know what? They do it, and they do it efficiently.
Right.
But if this is the type of individual that you're worried about coming into the country and taking your job, you're just a fucking loser.
Right. Not only that, labeling them as criminals.
Criminals,
like, really, like, this is a rapist, like, this is someone that's committing like egregious felonies in our country. No, these are people. And then the other misconception that really triggers me when I hear some ignorant person say something like this is the fact that they're like, oh, well, they come here and they don't pay taxes. Believe it or not,
they do.
Whether they're working with someone else's paperwork or whether they're working with documentation that may or may not be legit, taxes are taken.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam doesn't care where you come from, what you do. If you have a job and you went through the process of applying, you're getting taxes taken out. And immigrants or individuals that have come here, whether they came here legally or not, are paying billions. And when I say billions in taxes, and they contribute to a government and to a system that they cannot for example, take advantage of anything that is offered
They don't get taxes
for
back.
those
Yeah,
taxes,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And so, I don't know. To me, it saddens me to see this administration attack the immigrant community the way that it has since day one. It was no surprise that this is what was going to happen when we knew that he was going to go back into the White House, because he did it in his first term.
Yeah.
But it saddens me that the heartbreak of watching families being torn apart and kids crying because they went to school and came back home, their parents are gone.
Gone. Yeah.
With no word whatsoever.
Yeah, and to clarify, I mean, even the previous administration and the Obama administration did deport illegal aliens, but they went through the due process. And a lot of them were undocumented, and they were trying to enter the country illegally at the time.
Right.
Right? So
Yeah, there's no secret that every single administration has participated in getting rid of individuals that were not here legally, right, through the legal channels. But this monstrosity that we're seeing, this in your face, snatch you from the middle of a fucking doctor's appointment
And put you in Alligator Alley.
right.
yeah.
So here's my thing.
Yeah.
So in 2024, undocumented immigrants paid an estimated $96.7 billion
Look at that.
in federal and state taxes.
Right.
So that's relatively, it's like 2/3 to the federal, 1/3 to state, right?
Not to mention Medicare, Social Security.
Well, no, that's included. So they're paying both into Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, all that stuff, which they don't get.
Right.
Now we're rounding up these people. We're paying for flights. Now we American taxpayers, we're paying for flights.
Right.
We're paying for facilities to be built and run
In states like Florida.
to feed all this stuff.
Right.
And other- and other countries.
we're losing 96.7 billion in tax revenue.
Right.
So we're losing revenue in taxes and we're paying more.
Not only that, when you think about, the loss of our standing in the world, America has always been, that one
people don't
economy
wanna
that
fucking come
people
here anymore.
they don't want to come here. People don't want to look at us as someone who we want to relevantly do business with, even if relevantly is not a word.
I think I heard travel from Canada is down like 30 or 40%.
40%.
And you have people, for example, where this man and these tariffs that he's trying to implement, saying, well, fuck the U.S., dude. I can go do business with Australia. I can go do business with the U.K. I can go do business with other people
China
and completely bypass the U.S.
There's been quite a few influencers in China that have gone to their supermarkets and they're like, oh no more American beef. Oh wow, look at this, we're suffering, and they're getting their
beef from
Australia and Europe, and
for like
they're
$2.
Yeah, way cheaper,
Right.
cheaper, and they're like, we're not suffering.
Right.
This is not impacting us. We just, you know what? This door closed, we opened another. It's always been available.
And it's scary because in the middle of all of this, the escalated attacks on our community, on the LGBTQ plus community, mainly in states like Florida. What the fuck, man? Yeah. Like Florida's really going deep. Like they're going balls deep. They're really trying to really eradicate the fact that gay people exist and not give them an inch. There are cities in Florida, very well-known cities that have very large LGBTQ plus communities that are having their sidewalks, their rainbow sidewalks, erased.
Bitch.
It's fucking crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, it is a thing, but it was the one thing I was going to fucking talk about. But no, it's fine.
But go for it.
No,
Let's
it's
do it. Let's talk about your favorite person, Ron DeSantis.
So in West Palm Beach, which is where I fly into to visit my family, I have to say there are clearly good people. Because, yes, they have been erasing rainbow sidewalks throughout the state of Florida. There are places like Miami, like Wilton Manors, they still have theirs. Key West still has theirs. So West Palm Beach, was told that they need to remove their rainbow sidewalk because it's a distraction, right? It's a distraction to drivers. That is the reason they
It's
have
a
to
distraction.
remove it. So what the mayor did was it? I think it was the mayor. Yeah, the mayor decided, he's like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna remove the sidewalks. But what we're gonna do is the sidewalk is painted on a bricks, so it's a brick sidewalk.
Right.
He's gonna take out all the individual bricks, bring it to Serenity Park in West Palm Beach, and build a monument in honor of the LGBTQ plus community. So there are pockets of Floridians that are standing up for the right thing. However, it is really sad to see Governor fucking DeSanctimonium
Right.
telling and ordering people to remove these rainbow sidewalks. That's really just a celebration and a landmark for...
It's an acknowledgement that we exist.
Yeah. And it's a fucking rainbow.
Right. So wait.
Remove the orange.
Right. Why don't we just remove the orange?
Keep the rest.
Right. So here's the thing, though. Interestingly enough, that
Clots and prayers.
Clots and prayers. Even though you had this on your story, and you had mentioned, that it was distracting to drivers. So it was distracting enough that some hetero, felt the need to take his stupid truck and run skid marks on a fucking rainbow crosswalk.
I saw that, yeah.
And damage it, because that's not being distracted. That's being freaking outright an asshole. You're being a douche. Not to mention, all of these attacks. Like, my God, it's like, how much more can our trans community take? It's insane. It's ridiculous.
So I do want to give a shout out. So when confronted with directives to erase memorials recognizing the LGBTQ plus community, public officials across Florida struggled to find appropriate solutions, said Rand Houch, president and founder of the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council. In contrast, West Palm Beach Mayor Keith James swiftly came up with that plan that I had just described. So Keith James, that's true leadership.
Right. And,
Absolutely.
but the fact that you have to do that in the first place is just, it's so disheartening. It's so deflating, right? Like, we had, since marriage equality, right? We've seen an amazing, rise in being proud of being a member of our community. And immediately, right? Because marriage equality happened in 2015. And this fucktard won the election in 2016, right? The very next year. Yeah, the very next year. And since then, all you have seen is just attack after attack to all aspects of our community, and even having our nation's highest court erode our civil liberties as just humans, our rights to exist in ways that are fundamentally changing how Americans can navigate being gay in the U.S.
Well, I think what bothers me the most, because we're on a pendulum, right? And it's really going a certain way right now. It's going away from human rights.
Yeah.
And what's bothering me is I'm seeing a lot of the younger generation who may or may not have voted in this last election, but who also support Trump and his rhetoric because they don't quite understand it. But what it's doing is they're not taking the time to educate themselves. We have taken so much time to steep ourselves in EDI, in white fragility, and really understanding how we got to where we were.
Oh, yeah, that offended a lot of people.
And now all of these young people are being cemented or regrounded in bigotry.
Right.
And that is a horrible place to start from.
Not to mention, when you think about what's happening in the very, very young queer community, they didn't have to come up with or grow up in all of the nastiness and all of the craziness and the deaths and the AIDS crisis and all of these, in your face, blatantly horrible civil violations that were committed and atrocities that were committed against the LGBTQ plus community in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, right? And so you have a whole generation of people that don't recognize nor realize that there is a history there. And because they never faced that, or have now grown in a generation where they weren't exposed to that because of either lack of education, lack of available material and resources in our education system to tell people, hey, this happened.
Especially in some of the red states.
Yes, it happened. This was something real.
They don't teach it. I was never taught this shit in school.
No, people died. And so you have a whole generation that, because of the internet, because of things like Facebook and Instagram and all of these different tools, grew up woke. And I'm using that in an appropriate way. It's a great thing to be woke, to be informed.
But to be empathetic.
That's the thing. They lack the empathy because they don't lack the experience, the having to go through the loss of a loved one to something that could have been completely prevented if, the government at the time really took the time to address the concerns regarding AIDS and HIV seriously, right? That this was a pandemic. This was something serious and they did nothing about it, right? So you have a whole new generation that they're like, that are growing up at ages between 15 and 25 that don't have that background.
Yeah, and since it's not being taught, they
right.
Yeah,
they know about it because, like I said, they have resources
through the interwebs, but it's not something that's taught. And I think that's a big well,
it's not a lived experience. You can learn anything, right? A lot of people can learn anything, but you tend to have more of a moral compass when that experience or that thing that you're learning about or that thing that someone is talking about is a lived experience, because you can immediately identify with it, and they can't do that. They have grown up in a completely different, environment than most of us did.
Well, and they're also they're learning from their elders, for lack of a better term. They're learning to not be empathetic and to not empathize with somebody that's different from them, or somebody that has a different type of struggle than they do. Right? They think, okay, well, I'm going through this. And my understanding is it's because of the black and brown community, right? That's what they're being taught.
Right.
And that's why they align with MAGA, and that's why they can't empathize with other marginalized communities, because they don't take the moment to say, hey, can we have a conversation? Or there's nobody in their circle that's like-minded, right? There's nobody in their circle that is a Puerto Rican, that is an African-American. There's nobody in their parent circle that is that and has lived that life experience. So they can't, both the parents and the child don't understand and can't empathize with another community. But their algorithms on their social media or their news feeds is telling them that these people are the problem.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, but that's also the messaging that this administration is sending, right? Trans people are the problem. These people are the problem. Immigrants are the problem. Anything but white America is the problem. And, what saddens me is that, the sooner we realize that the issue that is happening, for example, within our trans community, I'll use them as an example. What the trans community is experiencing right now, the sooner we realize that is also our problem, the sooner we can do something about it. But we're all in silos, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm a gay man. That doesn't affect me. I'm a cisgendered male that identifies as male. That issue doesn't apply to me. I can go get health care.
Well, I agree with you, but I think that I think the reason to keep queer people in your life, but not just queer people, but woke people in your life, is because I personally, and I'm not tooting my horn or anything, I feel like I've gone out of my way to experience other lived experiences so that I understand better.
And you should. I've watched you operate in many different circles. As a white man, I know how uncomfortable it must have been for you to walk into a party with nothing but Puerto Rican people there, and you're like, oh shit. I can only imagine what your thought process was in the car before you got out and actually walked into this party, right? I've seen you work in different spaces. You make an effort to go in and say hello to everybody and sit with people and have conversations and talk to people and learn from people, right? You have to put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, I just to speak to that. I mean,
You obviously know a lot of the people that are there because you've been there before.
I mean, I did have a little hesitation, but I knew you were there, so I was fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so,
Because there are people there that don't know me,
Right.
And this white cis guy walking up, like,
right, like who's this gringo, right?
You're in the wrong party, honey.
I was like, I'm sorry.
no, I'm not. I'm here for the food.
Hello, but
I brought a Tupperware.
See, I'm Puerto Rican too.
My thing is, I feel like we're fighting battles in silos, and the sooner that the community, those black and brown people, Jewish people, like Asian people, Indian people, all of these people from different ethnicities, that's anything than your traditional white American, like we belong here, you don't person, the sooner we realize we're all fighting the same trope, the same people, the same issues,
different battles, same, yeah. Basically, we need a common language as a unified common language of how to combat the systematic racism, right, and general
right. Because that's how they're doing it, right? When you think about what happened in Israel, right, and that horrible attack, and then there's subsequent war that ensued afterwards, and then people were starting with the whole anti-Semitic thing, right, and attacking Jewish people, and then you think about Trump's attack on people who may practice a religion that happens to be anything other than Christianity.
Even backing it up to
his first administration, right?
No, even backing it up just a little bit more to all the attacks on mosques and Muslims in America.
Right, and then you start thinking about
they have each section of individuals that are marginalized. They have their own fight that they're waging.
Yeah. Right,
but coming together as one unit with a common language,
right,
is stronger.
I believe so. I think that
I mean, you still have to
you still have to focus
and advocate
for you, right? And I feel like we can do that locally, but on a national platform, I think we really do need to unify because we have the numbers.
I mean, I think it's happening.
We have the numbers, but to me, it's not happening fast enough.
No,
and it's scary.
Remember the due process that was in place has been tweaked to make it harder.
Of course.
To make those fixes.
But what they don't realize is that, affecting and taking away due process for one group of people, what's to stop them from taking away due process
from us?
For you.
Yeah.
You might be a white man. You might have been born here, but guess what? You're a gay white man.
Oh, I know.
So we're not going to
have to deport you to gay Russia.
Let me say,
we're going to put
come
you.
For me, bitch. Well, come for me.
They might even be nice to her. We're like, well, since all of your family's in Florida, we're going to put you in Alligator Alley, okay? So they at least go visit you.
Oh my god.
It could happen. I'm not being hyperbolic here.
No, I know it can happen. I've thought about it.
It's fucking crazy.
Once they have achieved their current goal of marginalizing and deporting black and brown people, who's next?
Yeah. Right.
And the LGBTQ plus community, they're already under attack.
Yeah.
Right. So when they start, and they already have started coming for us in different ways, I'm not going to be surprised. Am I going to speak up and fight back? For sure.
We have to.
Changing the laws, making it illegal to be gay,
making it illegal to speak up or say something.
Right? Jail time for
sodomy.
being a sodomy.
So you know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for
consensual sodomy. By the way.
So right now, Bad Bunny is currently doing his residency in Puerto Rico. So if you're not aware who Bad Bunny is, he's a Puerto Rican singer.
Gay rapper, right?
He does
reggaeton.
He does a little bit of everything. And in his most recent album, He really took a stance on understanding cultural importance and specifically Puerto Rican culture. And he said, I'm one of the biggest artists in the world right now. And when I tell you he's one of the biggest artists in the world, he is. Everybody knows who this man is.
He has surpassed the majority of records worldwide.
Worldwide. And so he decided he was going to do a concert. He was going to do a tour. But it was a residency. And it's not your normal residency where like Celine Dion goes to Vegas. She does 6 months. Like Adele did a residency in Vegas. I think J-Lo did a residency in Vegas. He decided to do a residency in Puerto Rico. And so all of the global fans that wanted to go see him now have to travel to Puerto Rico to do that. But he did it in a way that was very creative. So first and foremost, he said, okay, my first 5 shows, the only people who can buy tickets to my first 5 shows are people who live on the island. I want to serve my people first, which I thought was great. And then the insanity that ensued of trying to sell every single show he has currently booked is sold out, probably 2 or 3 times over. And what he did was he took the Puerto Rican spirit, the Puerto Rican people, the traditions of the Puerto Rican, the Taíno, the this, the that, and he's forcing people to come to the island and see the state of our government in the island, the state of the island after Maria, and he's bringing a show to them that's bringing them cultural awareness of understanding where you come from, looking at what the United States of America has done to incorporated territories in the past. For example, what they did to Hawaii. He has a whole song written about it. And what they're doing to us. We're still a colony. Okay, we have no voting rights. We can't vote for president of the United States. We have no rep. We have a.
Well, you can.
Yeah. Well, the island.
Because we live here in the U.S.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But if you're in the island, you cannot vote.
You cannot vote. Okay.
We do have state reps, senators, but they're not allowed to vote.
Well, we have our own, government.
In Congress,
but in Congress, we don't have a senator.
The Puerto Rican delegates are not allowed to vote.
We have 2 representatives that are non-voting members of Congress. So they're just there to just show face. We have no power. Okay.
I mean, they can advocate and speak.
But for what? Congress drives our policies. So what I'm waiting for is for this fucker, right? Puerto Rican people on the island have been citizens of the United States. We have been a colony since 1897, somewhere around there.
6, I think, or 90.
And we have been officially citizens since the 1940s, somewhere around there. Every Puerto Rican was granted citizenship. Second class, but nonetheless, we're citizens, right? By birth. What I'm waiting for is for this asshole to really take issue with what Bad Bunny's doing right now. And trying to, push the whole narrative of Puerto Rican, pride and being able to just, advocate for yourself, for the people that you love and the people that live on the island. I'm waiting for him to take issue with that and just simply sign an executive order saying all Puerto Ricans who live on the island are no longer citizens.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I'm waiting for it to happen.
But you got to remember that right now, and Bad Bunny's very outspoken about it.
Yes.
The people in power in the island right now side with the current administration.
Yeah. And they're pushing against his narrative.
Yeah, and they're pushing against his narrative. And one of his songs and one of his speeches, he calls them out on it, especially during Hurricane Maria, which in one of the verses he says, I will never forget you allow 5,000 Puerto Rican to die.
Right.
And you will have to atone for it. Yeah.
Right.
He calls them out all the time. And he's not nice about it. He's like, we know what you did and fuck you. Like that's his and that's his style of rapping, of his singing. And
the stage.
Yeah.
The stage, the signage, and the in-your-face messaging.
Yeah, he has an old school Puerto Rican house made out of wood with the metal roof, and It's
insane.
Yeah.
And not only that, watching
chickens,
the artists,
the chickens on the show. He's got live chickens
in the show,
in the stage.
People, the artists that had signed on to do cameos. I mean, you're talking about what's this guy? He was in the movie recently.
Luis
Guzman,
yeah.
right? Ricky Martin, Ednita Nazario. You're talking about all these like massive, big Puerto Rican artists that are huge on the island. Obviously, someone like Ricky Martin, who's he's known worldwide. They're all doing cameos. They're all just showing up in different stages of the concerts, and people are going bananas.
That's amazing.
But he's rattling cages.
Yeah.
He's rattling cages locally for local government. But I wouldn't put it past this administration here in the U.S. just making, because he's happy to do that. Yeah, we're just going to take your citizenship away.
And on a side note on that, I don't know if you realize, having the house on the stage, where does everybody congregate?
At the house.
In the front porch.
Right, in the front porch.
So if you go to Puerto Rico, if you go to Puerto Rico, usually when you go and people show up, everybody hangs out in front of the house, and you play your dominoes, and you congregate, and you sing, and that's.
I'm gonna fit in.
And that's the
that's what I'm saying.
That's the
you'll be fine.
experience. Yeah, that's the whole experience he
gonna
brings
get a
to
spray
his
tan.
show. So he's not only speaking about all this stuff, he's bringing our culture to a whole new light.
Well, that honestly, again going back to like what we were talking about earlier, that it shows such leadership and depth.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about here. I'm making money. I'm making music. I'm doing what I want to do. He's putting out a message, right?
Not only a message.
And he's teaching. He
brought that economy to the island.
Right.
He says, "I'm not touring. I'm touring on the island."
Yeah.
And he's also creating schools and programs
And jobs.
for children in the island. He's in the process of
He's a philanthropist too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's in the process or is completed. They're doing a school for the arts, which is rarely seen in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Oh my God.
For the kids, and he's pouring money back.
I did not know all this about him.
Yeah.
So
Dude, it's insane. He's doing more than many other artists that have been in the island for
He's
years.
like the Puerto Rican Taylor Swift.
pretty much. Pretty much. Like that's leave it to a white girl to put it in perspective. A Puerto Rican Taylor Swift. So here's the thing. So about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a murder of a transgender person on the island. Her name was Alexa.
Yeah.
And he came out immediately, right? Being in that genre of music, which is very machista, very gangsta, he's like, no, this is wrong. And he actually created a song, and he started wearing very flamboyant, very androgynous.
He wore a skirt similar to what she used to wear, what she was known for wearing.
Oh.
And he started advocating, like he advocates for everyone. I mean, the kid, he might have an annoying voice to most, or to some.
To Robert.
Oh my God, I have a friend of mine. He hates. It was like, I'm over this Bad Bunny thing. I was like, you know what? Stop being a hater, dude. He's doing so many good things. But when it comes time to be someone who's young, because he's from this generation that we spoke about not too long ago, he took the time to educate himself, to understand his culture, to understand how words and actions can impact other groups of people. The man overall, I swear to God, he's a genius, and he's a very, very good person. And you know that because of the actions that he takes.
Yep.
Yeah,
and what he does.
He doesn't.
And we talked about that story here on the show like 4 or 5 years
He's
ago.
not one that's always in the limelight. I don't see a lot of interviews with him. I don't see him on the news. I don't see him on a lot of TV
That's because
shows.
he's busy building schools.
Yeah, he's not these type of artists that go out and they just boast about, all this great stuff I'm doing. He just does it.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Carter.
And then he posts pictures of himself on Instagram in his underwear and almost
And the
breaks
world
the
goes
internet.
crazy, right?
My God. Well,
So
just to kind of like wrap up this whole conversation
Yes.
about empathy, emotional intelligence, and just being there and teaching and learning. President Barack Obama, a true leader for this fucking country,
Yes.
went on his wife's podcast recently. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to listen to it.
I have not.
But so the July 16th episode he went on and was addressing a question that was raised by one of the listeners, and it was, how do I raise an emotionally intelligent, competent man? And his response was saying that men need a range of different role models in their life, and gave an example of a gay professor he had in college. The professor, Barack Obama, was out during the time of Barack Obama's schooling, and became one of his favorite professors and was a great guy. And he went on to say, I started saying stuff that was ignorant, and the former president, the professor would correct him. Not correct him, but teach him. Well, right. That's not right. You know what I mean? And the president said, you need that. You need that in your life. You need to show empathy, and you need to show kindness to be a great leader. He goes on to say, by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who is gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody they can go to. And then he talks about that it's creating community and all that stuff. And we continually say, and I was having this conversation with my coworker the other day, that it takes a village, right?
It sure does.
It takes a village. If you want a well-rounded, raised individual, it takes a village of different perspectives, different mindsets, and different lived experience, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And me knowing growing up that I didn't have anybody in my circle that was gay that I could go to. My nieces growing up, my nephew growing up, they all know they've got a gunkle.
Right.
Yeah.
They've got somebody in their circle.
Yeah.
Right.
That's in the LGBTQ,
community. That they can go ask questions if they had any.
but they have somebody in
Yeah.
their village.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you just need to make sure that there's the right people in your village, so that we're actually developing, well-rounded individuals, not people like a Donald Trump who is raised, steeped in white supremacy, whiteness, rich whiteness.
But you know what's unfortunate?
Well,
That
you
while
know,
he says it does take a village, sometimes those people are part of that village too. And that's the scary part.
But the thing is, that's okay. I think that's okay. I
Yeah,
think it's okay
it's
as long as your
okay.
village encompasses everybody. I think our village should encompass everybody.
Yeah, unfortunately,
and I-
we just have the village idiot leading us right now.
Exactly.
But
We have the
that's the
village
thing.
idiot that's not a part
Yeah,
of another
the
village.
yeah.
But that's the
You
thing.
But if you have somebody of the 1% a part of, say, our village, they're not. They're clearly invested in a way, right?
Right.
Trump would never
Yeah. No.
even step foot.
But I feel like, for example, if you had someone that was MAGA, that was brainwashed completely, and that one individual is part of the village of this individual, and this individual is looking for resources and looking for information, and this one person, all it takes is one rotten apple
Yeah, but
to ruin individuals, right?
but
That's
you
all it
can't.
takes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't always. I mean, and I understand
You
what you're
can't
saying.
exclude anybody,
No, you
obviously.
can't.
You can't
You can't
stop
exclude
people
it,
from
but-
having those experiences
Yeah,
in their lives.
I think you
but-
also have to give the individual child themselves the credit, because growing up, I experienced all that shit.
Yeah, but
we
I
all have.
Also think that
you know, and you knew like this fucking guy's off the rocker.
yeah.
Right.
You know, the way of thinking. Why would he even fucking? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And that was part of my village.
But I
that
think
was the shit I grew up with. So I think sometimes it's just a matter of allowing people to have those experiences.
Right.
Because if you don't run into somebody that's batshit crazy and identify it,
Well, and to be quite fair, Barack Obama is the 1%.
Yeah.
He is. He's very, very wealthy. Him and Michelle. However, in this interview, I think he addressed that pretty well. He
Yeah, he
was
did.
like, he basically said, I would say something that was inappropriate or racist or homophobic, and I was checked. I was put in check.
yeah.
And that is also the responsibility of everybody in the village, right?
Right.
It's not just like, I mean, I've been put in check by you guys.
I do it all
I've
the
been
time.
put in check by my African American friends. And like, it helps me. It helps me grow
It,
as an individual.
it happened today outside. Poppy, hey, Poppy. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, don't do that.
But that was for a different reason. That was for a different reason.
Different reason, yeah.
No, but but you're right. You're right. I mean, we can't obviously control who people are going to have the exposure to. The only thing that we can do is pray that they have the enough lived experiences to be able to come out of that experience or experiences well-rounded.
Well, also
and
too,
educated.
I think, you know, for individuals that find themselves in situations, and I'm hoping, you know, that shit changes in the next couple of years or so, but find themselves in a situation where their village or their community is not diverse, is not providing them what they need, they seek it elsewhere.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You know what I
hope
mean?
so.
Like,
You got to keep, I think, again, you got to keep in mind, it's a community, it's a village. And sometimes when you need change, move to a different fucking village.
yeah. And you know what?
Period.
You know what I found too? And for a long time when I was younger, because I grew up in a very, you know, Italian Catholic household surrounded by mostly white people, right? But as I grew up, I found that when I would approach somebody, I would, you know, maybe be nervous to approach somebody of color or somebody of a different community. But I would approach them and I would start talking to them about themselves. When they had that experience, that interaction, it excited them because they want the white cis man to know this shit. They want, you know, people that would unnecessarily like be identified as somebody that could be potentially ignorant. They want to give them the experience. They want to welcome them into the family, but they want to, for lack of a better term, train them.
Yeah.
Like,
expose you to a different
Right.
culture.
yeah.
You know, I think there's appreciation in being able to go to the source and ask them, hey, what's going on? You know, like gossip, right? Somebody says, hey, Nick told me that you said blah 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 blah. Well, we're not going to play this game. I'm going to go to Nick. Nick, what did you say? What's going on here? Do you know what I'm saying? So you go to the source, which is in a sense a theory that could work out in this case, right? If you want to learn about different people, different cultures, go to someone who happens to be a part of that group, a part of that culture,
But it's not
and
even
ask the questions.
And it's not just even about like not the intention is not necessarily I'm coming to you to learn about your culture. The intention
Or
really
you
is I'm
as an
coming to you to
individual.
learn about you.
Right.
And in doing so,
I'm learning about your culture.
I'm learning
yeah.
about your culture. Like you and Jay have taught me so much about Puerto Rican culture and Puerto Rico that I would have never known, right?
Right.
But I didn't come to you and say, but what about this? What about this specific thing? We just like
Conversations,
in conversations. It was just natural. And I think that
Well, we don't know how to shut the fuck up, really.
there's that too. There's that too.
So you have no choice.
Yeah,
It just
especially after a few libations.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But I think that that's important, and I think when we're coming back to this whole like, you know, empathy and creating well-rounded individuals, it's about really just expanding your village, your network, and having human to human interaction.
Absolutely.
and unite,
You know,
because we're all fighting the same evil.
Mhm.
So,
absolutely.
all right,
And
Jay
he may
Bird
have dyed his hair, but
Yeah.
he's still the same evil.
Oh yeah.
sure is. Jay, do you have anything that you plan to talk about this week?
No one is illegal on stolen land.
That's right. Ain't that the truth?
Preach.
She came bringing facts
Yeah.
from Puerto Rico. Look at that. She ate the good meat and she's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Relaxed and refreshed.
Okay. Well, unless anyone has anything else, I think we've rambled on for well over an hour and 12 minutes.
No way.
I
Really?
thought it was a really good conversation today.
No, it was an amazing conversation.
I can't believe it was that long either.
Yeah. So that said, I think it's time to wrap it up and bring it home. So I'm going to toss it over to Trish because you've got Mama Kim's Minute. And then, Jay, you're up. You want your love, girl?
She can't function without it.
All right, everybody, here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, Tom Daly makes a splash with skimpy new Adidas swimwear. Number 2, my dad struggled when I came out as a trans man, and then he danced with me at my wedding.
Oh.
Number 3, U.S. government forced to return $6.2 million in funding to LGBTQ plus and HIV groups.
Yes.
Right fucking on.
All right.
Jay Bird.
Moving on. This day in gay history, the year 1980, in Moscow, Russia. 32-year-old Italian Enzo Franconi in Moscow for the Summer Olympics chains himself to a fence on Red Square to protest the Soviet prosecution of homosexuals. I remember that.
Persecution, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it.
It's all over the news out here. I remember that.
Now it's like they have the don't say. It's almost like Florida's don't say gay bill, right? It's
Yeah.
like the gay propaganda laws
Yeah.
that they passed in Russia, where you can't wear rainbows in front of kids and this and that.
Did you see what Italy did?
No.
Oh, they passed a law or proposed a law. I'm pretty sure it passed that LGBTQ couples cannot adopt or have kids.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
illegal
okay.
for them to have kids.
That is fucking crazy. It's like I remember when that whole, gay propaganda law thing passed in Russia, there was a whole group of tourists that went to Russia and they all had different colored shirts. And they were all in different parts of the square, and then they would come together in the form
the
of a
rainbow.
rainbow and then sort of kind of disperse back into the crowd. And that's how they were doing, their activism. But,
Low key.
it's got to do what you got to do. Fight back. Fuck
Absolutely.
Putin. Anyway, Jaybird.
Announcements. All right. Let's see if I don't screw this up.
Try not to.
If you love the show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review in your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published. You can also support us on Patreon. With Patreon, you, our listeners, can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
Yes, queen.
Is this correct for next week?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Next week, we welcome Hope Chavez. Hope is a nonprofit arts leader and currently serves as the executive director of the New Haven Arts Council. She is also a creative producer and facilitator. Hope is called to center joy and justice to shift systems of power and radically support the underserved cultures makers in the community. Wow, this is a lot. No. Hope also serves as co-president of the New Haven Pride Center's board with Trish.
She does.
Yes, queen.
Yeah, we met her.
That's
I
exciting.
like her. I like her.
Yeah.
We had really good conversation.
Yeah. For lack of a better term, Hope is a activist. She's very ground roots.
Yes.
She's very steeped in the New Haven community and activist work in general, especially currently. It should be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah,
next
and
week.
she's a bomb human
Oh,
too.
God,
so
I
she's
love her.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yep.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, we had fun.
All right. So Trish.
Yeah, sure. All right, everybody, get the Future Method and all other products today. All products are doctor developed, can clean out without hurting your bum, take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs, increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal glass dilation kit, and get all the information you need with Dr. G's book, But Seriously. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessory today.
All right.
Alrighty, it is time to put a ring on it.
You sure?
Absolutely, why not? Our show is available on our website, GayTalk20.com, under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and now Spotify.
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at gaytalk2.0@gaytalk20.com. Tom, it's your turn.
All right. Well, ladies and gents, I want to thank you all for joining us on tonight's show. If you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website, click on the Contact Us tab, which is located at the top of your web browser. There you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast or an individual host. You can also give us a call and leave us your questions on our voicemail. And you can do so by calling 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all of those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget, we do stream live now on Mondays starting at 6 p.m. And you can access information on our show on GayTalk20.com. Ladies and gents, that is our show. I want to thank you for joining us, and y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.